Okay, TNA, two things to talk about. One of them is you can hear it in my voice. I'm congested because the weather currently in New York has now turned very balmy. We've been having a lot of rain. We're getting a lot of humidity, and the flowers and trees and plants are now blooming, which gives me allergy problems, which gives me heavy congestion, which basically snot runs down my throat into my stomach and upsets my stomach because there's so much snot, I'm beginning to cough it up. Even with allergy medicine, I get this every single time when this weather happens. It sucks. Second thing, I'm going to make this very quick. If you saw my music video, I hope you enjoyed it. I haven't made one in almost 2 years due to the fact, and I won't lie, I've gone through a lot of stress lately due to the pandemic and also due to several other issues I don't wish to get on to this channel. I'm not going to do that. But if you were in my position, you wanted to do more content, you wanted to create a new intro, you wanted to create a music video, and finally with a new small mini PC, if anyone knows that I use a mini form PC, it's like about this size, literally. It's a small little thing. I now have a much more better rig to actually do work on. Now, it's not perfect, but it does do the work very well, very quick. And I finally was able to make the music video, which is now, part of that music video is now my new intro. You'll be able to see it. I don't think I'm going to put any images in this video because, my nose is almost trying to run. You hear it. I'm just so congested. So I'm going to try and take some medicine and get some rest. So but I want to just tell you how this show happened. And what happened. And how bad it was. Sloppy. I'm going to leave that as the title. Sloppy. Now, mind you, it was not the backstage segments. It was not the segments in the ring. It was not the vid packs, particularly with the Laredo Kid. No. It was the work in the 2300 arena. Look, guys. Let's make this clear. Impact Wrestling has always notoriously had problems working in the 2300 arena. Either they could never get the lighting right, the audio right, the camera work right. It's always been some freaking issue. But that was mostly due to the fact that we're using older equipment. As they said, for more than a few years, they've been using very old equipment, and wherever they went was an issue. Now, they're TNA. Supposedly they upped their game. They changed out their entire sets. They changed the apron around the ring. They changed the mat on the ring to look more of their new logo. They have supposedly better lighting when they come into the entrance. Everything's up, except production when it comes to understanding how to use the camera and how to switch. As well, the most important thing, the audio was crappy in the very beginning. Just because you get new equipment, if you even got it, which I don't even know if TNA does have new equipment, because when you watched every match they showed, and let's make this clear, every match was not a bad match, but the problem was the camera work was bad. Flat out, if anyone says, oh, it was fine, that's for you. But for people like me and others who want to see proper wrestling, it was garbage. Many cases, when they went outside the ring, the camera could not adjust itself to the changing of the light outside the ring. Either it was too dim and then all of a sudden became too bright, or too bright and it had to go down really dim. Now you're going to say, well, it's always like that in the 2300 arena. Yes, with old equipment and probably improperly trained cameramen. Because when you watch one of the matches, which I'll get into, instead of zooming in to watch what happened or switch to one of the two cameramen, they used an extremely long-range camera to see something that's meant to be up close and personal. I don't care what you say. No disrespect. But as a reviewer, I am looking at what you get at home, not at the damn arena. What you get at home is what they present to you and you pay for. Because there's people paying for the TNA Plus app. There's people paying for the Fightful app. There's people who literally get cable to get Access TV. So you tell me, do you like wasting your money? Because that's what it feels like when it comes to TNA. They still have not improved. I don't need to say this, and I don't expect anyone to agree with me down in the comments. Look at it for yourself. Look at it. So let's go to the first match. The 8-for-1 match. Two teams. They got to go up against each other. Whoever wins, and it's an 8-woman tag. In this case, setting up for Jordynne Grace's Rebellion match. It's all women. No problem. I didn't see Gazelle Shaw there, so she's not there. That's going to be a question. Where is she? And I'm saying that for a reason. You guys understand why. I'll tell you in a minute. But when you see this, Team 1 and 2, Team 1 had Danny Luna, Rosemary, D-Lander, Brookside, and the other team had Jody Threat, had Havoc, had, who was it? Marsha Slamovich, and who is the last person? I cannot remember who the final one was. I can't remember. There was one more person. I'm blanking right now. But it was an alright match. It wasn't bad. It was very, very rough, and that's a good thing. I didn't have a problem showing how good the women's division is in TNA, particularly that right now, as they're stating it in AEW, their women's division is better, and this is Jesse. Jesse does TNA reviews, guys. He's been doing Impact Wrestling and now switched over to TNA. He's probably already reviewed this already. But 100%, he's already saying AEW's women are better than the Knockouts in TNA. That's got to make you feel very upset as a TNA fan, knowing that the mainstay of women's wrestling has always been TNA. Yeah, it's had its ups and downs, but it's always been known to be one of the best. But guess what? Now the Mercedes Moné has gone to TNA, and who left? Went to WWE, and looks like she's doing absolutely nothing. And in Naomi, now the Knockouts seem to be lesser than them. And that's upsetting to me. Because I understand his point of view, Jesse. That's how he feels. He feels like AEW is stacked way more than TNA is. But as someone who's reviewed both shows and reviewed TNA when it went from TNA to Impact back to TNA again, almost, how many years? 2012? Almost 12 years? I've seen that division go up, down, up, down. Right now, it's somewhere in between due to the fact and the change of management right now. So it's hard to tell, what are they doing? So it's a big question. Now, the one thing that was interesting, at the very end when the first team had defeated the second team, and it was Danny Luna, Brookside, D-Lander, and Rosemary, and Brookside was taken out by, was it Brookside? No, hang on. Slamovich took out Danny Luna, and Brookside was basically, who was it? Taken out by Ash of Elegance, who was originally going to be in the match, but, excuse me, my nose runs, I'm sorry. Who was originally going to be in the match, but supposedly she had a cosmetic surgery, and she was like this, and Brookside was thrown into her while she was sitting outside the ring, got angry and beat up on Brookside. She was gone. There was only DeLander and Rosemary, at least until Matt Cardona came in, messed over, literally gave a Rough Rider to Rosemary, and DeLander won? What? I don't know how to feel about that. Because his woman is in WWE right now, and we have not seen Matt Cardona in so many months. I don't even know if that's a great thing or a bad thing. There was no build-up into it. It was a surprise, yes. But I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Moving on. Second match. Grizzled Young Veterans calls out Diener. Diener was given the option by the director of authority if which one of these guys he wants to face. He can face one or the other. I believe he went up against Drake. Originally, he was going to go against, well, technically, he was given the option to go up against Drake or Davis. He asked the fans, and they said do both, and that's what he did and got his ass whooped for it. I was thinking that Eli may come out to help him, because right now Eli's a good guy, and he's a good guy at this point. Not saying they team up together, but at least it would kind of be closure for the design of Violence by Design. I think that would be nice to see a little bit of closure between Eric Young and Diener, where Diener and Eric Young face one another, and Eric Young says, "You have finally become what I hoped you would be, the design. But not the way I originally made it. I was wrong. You now found yourself. You follow what you feel is right. And that's to get the fans to help you. That is the true way to do it." I kind of wish that was happening. But we get this match. And it's like, okay. Next. The match that makes, I think I originally made the title here. I think maybe I might stick with the title. Instead of saying sloppy, I think it's going to stay the way it was. And why did Josh win? Because Josh comes out wanting Hammerstone, but he gets Tracy Williams, formerly of Ring of Honor, formerly of AEW, formerly of one of the greatest legends of Ring of Honor history, where maybe he could join TNA and give them a different edge. But then I think about what happened with Jonathan Gresham. Was a great wrestler and still is, but they did nothing with him. Zero. So I thought, without thinking, why did Josh have to win here? This could have just helped the story, because I'm sure Tracy Williams is not joining TNA, at least not right now. But it would have been better to let him have that win due to the fact of interference by Hammerstone, who doesn't care. He thinks Josh is nothing but a coward by rolling out when he did his finishing move at Hard to Kill. So at this point, it would have helped. And at least would have gave more to character for Josh Alexander. Because let's make it very clear, I'm not against Josh. This is the booking they give him. He's given very strong booking. And sometimes that strong booking can be a double-edged sword. If you overbook someone to win constantly and constantly and constantly, yes, he did job to Will Ospreay, but Will wasn't a part of the company. And it didn't really help him in anything. Yes, he went up against Will freaking Ospreay, but it didn't really change anything in his character or his storyline while he's in the company. He's still exactly the same. So if Tracy Williams, whether he's joining the company or not, had won this, it would have helped him, because at least then, if Hammerstone had to interfere or he won against him, actually would help the development of his character if he's trying to get back to the world title scene. It just did not make sense for him to win. It didn't. It didn't. Now, seeing that Hammerstone is still keeping his ear guard, it's something for Hammerstone to be wielding around, which is good, because at least we don't need to see Josh in his ear guard anymore, at least for now. But I just don't agree with it. Not that I hate Josh or think that he has stupid old ring attire like Kurt Angle, like some people, like more than a few years ago, when Josh was wearing a singlet, and I think one or two people kept leaving me comments saying, "Dude, he's stupid wearing like that. He's just like Kurt Angle, boring." He said, "That's you. There are many people who like him the way he is." Seeing that at least he's not wearing his ear guard, and that makes sense because he didn't lose to Hammerstone, he got tricked by Hammerstone. So it's okay. Let's make this quick. Eddie and Bailey was a good match, but the lighting wasn't good. When it came to Macklin and Sabin, it was a good match as well, but lighting was an issue. And Macklin won there. I think the things that was the most notable were the backstage segments. Seeing that Time Machine is having a problem, see that ABC was having a bit of a problem, and a little bit of an attitude, each of them, makes me think they're trying to go in a different way with ABC and Time Splitters, along with Time Machine. I don't know if they're going to split up ABC. I don't think they should because they don't have any tag teams. If they split up Ace Austin and Bailey, I am hoping Chris Bay and Ace stay together because they need them as a team. Do not separate them. Time Splitters I can understand. Seeing how Alex Shelley's attitude is, it's perfectly fine. Seeing that, it's good to see it. Finally, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this. And the thing that I felt was the best segment of them all, Dorado Kid. Finally, they say something with Dorado. Finally, he gets a moment to talk. Look, we've seen Dorado there for maybe 5, 6, at least 6 to 7 years. I think 6 or 7 years has been Dorado, even more. I'm sure it's got to be between 6 years and more. Because I've seen him for quite a long time. When he was working with Angel Garza at one point, Mr. Whoop pulls his pants off, who's now in WWE right now with Alberto Carrillo. I'm telling you right now, he's been around for quite a while. And knowing that he almost died, and knowing that this guy's never won a title and never stopped working for Impact / TNA, now TNA, he deserved that. Now the question is, are they going to give him something? Because when he was supposed to show up, he couldn't because of travel problems. Either because of his paperwork or whatever, the flight. He wasn't able to go up against Crazy Steve. He wasn't. Crazy Steve went up against somebody else. So in this situation, he's getting a second chance, hopefully, to go up against Crazy Steve. And to be honest, I'd rather see Crazy Steve drop that damn title and move on to the X Division. I'm being honest here. Of course, he's not going to because of what's going on, especially with Pro Wrestling Illustrated, that Ali's on the cover of it. He won't win. And that would be Crazy Steve, at least not now. But maybe later he could. But then that means Dorado Kid is not going to win because they're not going to let Crazy Steve, or Steve. I'm just doing reference to Crazy Steve. But he's Steve. He will not be dropping that Digital Media Championship belt. He just won't. But I'm going to tell you this. Seeing that they did finally address Dorado Kid, give him a moment, makes me quite happy personally because the guy's been there long enough. He deserved better than what he was getting. Was this a good show taken away from the camera work? It was fine. The backstage segments were done pretty well. The vid packs were done well. No one glazing over a lot because I'm not feeling well. But I can tell you it does. At least they're putting in some effort. But let's make this clear. They are still not good. They're not. And seeing the booking for Josh Alexander where they should have let him lose, not win, and that could have helped his story, his progression, and even more, give someone that could come in later, a Tracy Williams, a win, so at least when he comes in, if he comes in, it'll look good on him. But that's just me. Peace.